Welcome to part 2 of our tutorial on processing HL7 and FHIR in the cloud. Here we'll show you how to alter your endpoints and perhaps suggest some security ideas, repackage the deployment to add your own files because you want to add in some custom activities for your integration host, as well as how to find the assembly directory if you want to get going with AWS or other cloud providers. Let's start by updating the SSL certificate. If I take a look inside the CSCFG file, and I'll load that up into Notepad, we'll see that there's a certificate already configured, and this is its thumbprint here. All I need to do is replace that thumbprint with my certificate's thumbprint. So there's a lot of ways you could obtain a SSL certificate. Firstly, use one you've already got for your system. You can also create one, perhaps say with Let's Encrypt. They offer SSL certificates for free, but please note if you do that, you do need to configure the domain settings for the service because you cannot create a certificate for this cloudapp.net, so you would have to create one from scratch. And of course the other way you can do it is to use a self-signed certificate, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. We already have another video up here in the top right that shows you how to create your own self-signed certificate. But I'm going to jump ahead, and here's one I've already created. So I'm going to upload this to my Azure account. So I head back over to Azure, click on Certificates, click Upload, select my file. Here's my self-signed certificate. I now need to provide a password for it. And click Upload. Great, that's now available. I can grab the thumbprint of my newly uploaded certificate. Head over to this and I'll replace that certificate with this one. Now when I save this file, I can re-upload this configuration and we'll have a secure certificate again for me to use. Okay, so before I do that though, there's a few other things I want to show you. I want to be able to change the endpoints that I'm communicating to the server. So I mentioned in the previous video, by default, HTTPS 22222 is available. I'd like to add some more to that. Still keep it secure, but in order to do that, we're going to have to edit the CSPKG file. And I'm just going to take that file along with the Repackage directory, and I'm going to copy that off to another directory for manipulation. Paste that in here. And so now there's a few things we have to do. We're going to have to alter this package. I'm just going to rename it to .zip. All those files are actually .zip files. I'm going to expand it open. And so I'm just going to grab the CSSX file, as this contains the assemblies that we're going to need for when we repackage this with my new endpoints. I'm going to hit paste. And now if I rename that file with a .zip extension, so I'm going to change it, expand that out, and I'm just going to grab the app root directory, head back up, and paste it in here. Great, so the app root directory contains all the assemblies that you're going to need to use to repackage this if you wanted it to go, for instance, in AWS or some other cloud service provider. We're just going to rebuild this for the Azure system for now. I'm going to go into this Repackage directory, and there's a couple of things in here that are going to help me. First, there's some command lines that we're going to be using shortly. There's the role properties. You don't need to change that. You just need to use it. And there's a new service definition file. So I'm just going to copy those again out of here and into my Repackage example directory. And so let's change the service definition file. So if we edit that with Notepad++, and we can see in here the two endpoints which the integration defaulted to. There's the port 22000 on HTTPS. That's what the integration host client uses to communicate to the service. And we have the single HTTPS endpoint 22222 for our workflow that we created earlier. So I'm going to add in another endpoint that we can use. I'm going to copy this line, paste it in, change its name, and I'm going to add another port. Still going to use the same certificate, and I'm still going to use HTTPS. I could have changed this to TCP and removed the certificate. There are some other options. I'll leave you to look up what's possible with the CS definition file. You're welcome to change your own. There's even some network settings that you could put into here, making your site more secure. You might want to lock it down so only your cloud services can communicate with this. That's your choice. Perhaps change the VM size here to be a different size. Just make sure you leave in place this elevated requirement that is required for the integration host. Okay, so I'm going to save this file back to here, and I'm going to open up the command line text. So in order to repackage, you do have to have the Microsoft SDK for Azure installed. So assuming you've done that, I'm just going to copy this directory. I'm going to load up a command line, cd, right-click, run as administrator, and change the directory, cd, paste that in. And now I'm going to take this command line here. This is the CS pack exe. This is what's going to repackage our deployment. By default, it does point to c:\repackage example. That's the directory I'm using. All the files that it's using, I've already put into that directory, so I can just copy that and paste that. Enter. Now that's going to repackage all those files and create a new package for us. That's done. And if I now look in here, I have a new package CSPKG file ready for me to deploy. So I'm going to copy that, and we're going to go back to our original directory. And I'm just going to paste it in here. So we're going to copy from here, and I want to deploy this new package with the config file that we updated to use our certificate here. So to do that, we need to go back into Azure, head to the overview, and then I can click update. Now select my storage account and upload the new files. New package. And now we select the config. And then we also need to deploy, even if it contains a single instance. That's all we defined. And you may have even updated the role size. So then you can click this. Once everything's uploaded, the OK button will become available, and you can click OK. And that's going to start updating this deployment. Okay, so that's updated. That again took about 10 minutes to update the service. The first thing that we're going to note if we head over to the client is it's popped up on a message telling us that the SSL certificate has changed. This is a feature called certificate pinning. It makes sure you're not a victim of a man-in-the-middle attack, but we know that we changed the SSL certificate, so we can click yes and accept the new certificate. Now if I head over to the service, let's create a new service. We created the HTTPS, another message popped up. That was for the other certificate. Quickly go in new, and I can adjust the address. I need to change it to HTTPS. The port that we put in was 2223. I'm going to use HTTPS. Copy it, bit of authentication, test, save and close. Did something wrong. What did I do? Double click, change that port to 223, save and close. That's better. That's now running. So back here, I'm just going to edit this address, change it to the 3. This time I'm also going to change the auto send to move next rapidly so I can send it a bit faster. Now, got 0 messages here. Hit play. Start the beginning and boom, pumps those messages through far more rapidly. 12 messages sent. Everything's worked. If this video has helped you, then again, why not return the favor, give us a like, and if you didn't from the last video, perhaps click subscribe, maybe even ring the bell and get notified of our latest content. Take a look at the Integration Host Getting Started tutorials if you'd like to learn more about the next steps in creating your integration.